listen, okay, being in a transition longer than you should be, that is beyond uncomfortable. That thing will weigh you down and drain you. You will start to literally feel like you're losing your energy because transitions are not meant for longevity in your life. Welcome to Storytime with Sirece.
Preview.
And now, let's all welcome your host, Sirece Thomas. Hey guys! Welcome back. Come on in. I am so excited that you are back with me. Well, it is Saturday, which means it is another Story Time with Sirece. Sleepless night editions. No, but my nights are getting better. I must say, they're getting better. The baby's getting older. She's starting to sleep a little longer through the night, and you can't complain with that. Okay, well, I am so excited to have you guys back here. I hope you're having a good week. All right. And if you're not having a good week, that's all right too. You're in the right place. Okay. Because listen, sometimes it gets a little rough. And here on this channel, I come to just share constant motivational, inspirational messages from you, inspired by Christ, things that I get straight from the word and experiences and life. I mean, from relationships, weight loss, transition, pregnancy, postpartum, and the list goes on. Okay, so I'm so excited that you guys are here. Please do not forget to subscribe to my channel. We are so excited. We are getting closer to the big number. So please be a part of our YouTube family. We just encourage and uplift each other here. So I'm excited. Last week I came back in with the topic on transitions. Why? Because I'm speaking from my own life, and that's what I like to do. I like to speak very transparently from my own life, from my own experiences, what God shares with me, and praying that it blesses someone else. Because I know we all are in different places all around the world, and even in different places in life. But we all experience a lot of similar things. And when you just hear someone else's story, you can get very inspired and encouraged and reminded that you are not alone. Okay, so right now I'm in a season of transition, and one of the biggest things about transition is just being aware. It's so easy to know and get excited about a new season. There's new things, new relationships, new opportunities, new open doors, new surroundings, a new way of thinking, whatever that means for you. It is very evident when you're in a new season. But many times when you're in a transitional season, it can get a little murky. You can get a little nervous, fearful. You can start to get discouraged and doubtful because you're just trying to figure out what just happened. Transitions sometimes come, they sneak up on you. All right, you're just getting comfortable in the season that you're in. And the next thing you know, you look out the window and you're like, where's the snow? Or where's the flowers? What is that? You know, all of a sudden the trees start looking different. And you know, I love using metaphors, but I'm talking about our own lives. Things start looking different. Relationships start looking different. Your job start feeling different. You know, you just start to say, what is this? And so a lot of times transitional seasons, they just sneak up on you. They're very subtle. Sometimes they are overt. You sometimes can see them coming. And I love those seasons when I can see them coming, because if you're like me, I like to plan. I like to know what's coming. I mean, who doesn't, right? But when transitions sneak up on you, it can look real different over a course of time. So by the time you're fully submerged in your transition season, it can be very fearful because, like I said, when it snows, it's beautiful. Everything's white, everything's pretty. But when that snow starts to clear, when the storms subside, you start to see the grass and the mud and the ashiness of the streets, and it just don't look good. So like I said in my last message, transition seasons can be a little scary because there's nothing really appealing about a transition season. It looks different. It's unfamiliar. And many times it doesn't necessarily tell you what's next. It's just like, hey, come on in, take a seat. All right, we're going to have you wait here for a little while and I'll let you know what's next in a second. So just wait. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what in the non-informational waiting room is this transition season, right? And that's what it feels like. It's like, what am I doing here? How do I get here? And many times we just want to get out. We want to get to the next thing. But sometimes you can't see that. And many times you will not get out of your transition season until you do what's necessary. So just like in a regular season, you know what seeds to plant. You're seeing the produce, you're seeing the fruit of it. In a transition season, guess what? You also have to do some things there too before you get to your next season. But a lot of us, when we get into this unfamiliar, unmarked, unnamed season that we feel like, what is this? Get me to the next thing. We tend to pause, as you should. When you walk into something and you're just unfamiliar with it, we should pause to assess the situation. And basically, that means we should pray. We need to find out from God, okay, what am I doing here? Give me the wisdom and the insight that I need so that I can begin to do what I need to do in this transition season. But the issue is sometimes we pause and we pause too long. We get stuck because we start looking at the transition season. And I'm going to be honest, when you look at a season of transition, if you stare at it too long without doing what you got to do, that thing can get you in a paralyzed state because it can get you in a place where you're just like, I don't know where I'm going. And many times a transition season can feel like that's it. This is a season where the enemy really loves to come in and tell you your best days are behind you, that you've done it all. We're done here. You can get comfortable in this transition season, put your feet up. Don't worry about what's to come because you're pretty much going to you can make this a new season. You can make a season in the transition season, if that makes sense. He tries to get you to get comfortable in this transition and he tries to get you to set up shop here. Like, okay, I guess I can, build my house over there and put my couch there. And God is saying, no, we're not staying here. Okay, so some of us, we pause, but we pause a little too long. Another thing we do in a transition season is we start to try to go back to our current season because it's what's familiar. Let me go back and do what I've been doing because this ain't it. This ain't it, okay? And what happens is we go back to that season and we start planting the seeds like we've been doing, but we're not seeing fruit. And so we start to get frustrated with God, with ourselves, with people around us. And it ain't nobody's fault but our own because those seeds don't work no more. So we go back to a season doing what we thought we could do to get the same results. And it's not it. It's time to move on. And that should be a key indicator that your season is over. The cloud done moved. I love using that visual. When God was guiding Moses and the Israelites all through that journey, he would guide them as a cloud by day. So when the cloud would move, they would move. And when the cloud would stop, they would set up camp to rest, to eat, to do whatever they needed to do. And a pillar of fire by night. And I've always loved that visual for my life because sometimes in a season, I'll be like, I could feel the cloud moving. And every time the cloud moves, I'm just like, here we go into a transition season and I don't know. And you just don't know what that transition seasons call for a higher level of faith, period. Because when you go there, even though you're praying about what you would like to see next, it can get very fuzzy. It can get very murky. It's like the in-between from the boat to Jesus, and that water in the middle is the transition. And you need a higher level of faith to get to the other side. All right. And when I see that cloud moving in my life, I'm like, here we go. And I'm like, here we go, because I know from experience that I need to just be obedient and follow the cloud into the transition season so that I can get to the other side, because I've already been there in the past where I've got stuck in the transition season, or I just kind of held off. I held off too long, and then I started getting frustrated in my current season because it was no longer bearing fruit. And it actually will start to bear unproductive fruit. And so you got to be real careful. One season that used to bless you can actually become to hinder you and become a burden when it is no longer for you. So be careful. I hope you heard that. Okay, one season that was so fruitful and there was peace and there was joy can actually become the opposite when you stay there too long. It expired. It's time to go. And I know this is for somebody, okay? Now, if you know and you have recognized, okay, I have moved on from my last season, now I'm in my transition season, and it is uncomfortable. Absolutely. Transitions are uncomfortable. Like I said, you can get a little fearful and it's very unclear as to what's next. But one thing I can say, there are 3 things you can do in the transition season that will get you on solid ground. And that's pray, practice, and prepare. Okay, the 3 P's. And you know I love me a P, like my daughters, Persia, Paris, and my dog Prince. But pray, practice, and prepare. So this way that you can find yourself not getting stuck, not going back, but finding out what you do. That's right. There is something to do in a transition season. Okay. So like I said, a transition season is a time of rest, and rest for me is prayer. Let me go deeper on a whole new level of communication with God to find out, what is there something that you're working in me? I want to make sure that where I'm going is in your will, what the next steps are, and how do I do that? And once he kind of gets that in you, he's going to have you start to practice certain things, practicing with new seeds, new habits, practicing new relationships, practicing new mindsets, a new way of thinking, a new outlook, a new perspective. And he begins to allow you to practice that so you can prepare to succeed in your next season. So that's what that transition season is there for. It's literally there for you to take a moment. Yes, it could be uncomfortable. Pray, practice, pray so that you can get the answers on how to practice, because you don't want to be practicing for the wrong thing. Okay. You don't want to be practicing for soccer when you're going to basketball. You know what I'm saying? So pray for God to show you what are the new things I need to begin practicing for my new season so I can be as fruitful as possible, because God's got it. He's got you. He just wants you to step into his will. He wants you to step into that mindset and that new frame. Maybe he needs you to grow up a little bit. Maybe he needs to prune some things. Maybe you need to let some people go so that you can prepare yourself for the new season. So pray, find out what you need to practice, and then practice it, because sometimes we find out what we need to practice and we sit back because we're like, man, this is a hard one. All right. And then you simply begin to prepare. Those new seeds will produce new fruit, and you will see the fruit of the Lord. The joy, the peace, the blessing, the abundance is waiting for you in your new season. So I just want to encourage you, as I piggyback off of the message of transition, to know that it is not the end. This does not mean that you failed. Some people feel like, man, what happened? You get into that transition season and you're like, what happened? We was doing so good, God. I loved this season. Why am I in a transition now? I want to stay here. And he's like, no, get up, get up. Get up. Let's go. We got to go. We got to go. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you can get discouraged, like, oh, okay, I guess it's not, not my time anymore. And you start to feel like, Lord, why are you not choosing me? What happened? Why'd you put me on the bench? Because that's what a transition feels like. It feels like you've been benched by God. And that is not a good feeling. But the enemy just wants to deceive you to make you feel like not only have you been benched, but that is where you will be for the rest of your life, on the bench. And that is a bold-faced lie. Okay? God has taken you into a season of transition. He has not benched you. He has removed you completely, because he is taking you into something bigger, better, and greater. All to bless you and all to bring him glory and to be able to be a blessing to his people. That's really what it's all about. All right. It's not all about you. He's going to bless you in the interim, but it's also to bring him glory, and it's also to be a blessing to his people. But we got to get in line. We get so thrown off in the transition season. The enemy loves to come in and loves to start planting certain thoughts in the transition season just to get you off your mark, so that you will not be able to pray to find out what to practice, so that you will not be prepared for your next season. Okay. So I want to encourage someone where you're feeling like, I don't know what this is. Anytime you're anywhere in a certain place and you're like, I don't know what's happening, you should pause to pray. Okay. You should pause to pray and find out, all right, Lord, what are some new things that I need to begin to incorporate or let go of, so that I can begin to prepare for where you're taking me? Because I know from the past, see, once you get into that relationship with God and you start to know his voice and you start to see his patterns, like I know for me, I can trust and say, and I know confidently, he brought me through before when I was in a transition season. Ain't no doubt that he decided this time that he's not. So you should know, okay, Lord, what time is it? But I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I still get in that transition season, because as you grow in Christ, those transition seasons can get a little bit more challenging. And sometimes I get in those seasons and I get really discouraged, or I do find out what I need to practice, and I don't want to do it. And then we fall into this place of procrastination, and we wind up being in a transition season longer than we should. And now let me tell you something. It's one thing to be uncomfortable in your previous season that's no longer for you, but listen, okay, being in a transition longer than you should be, that is beyond uncomfortable. That thing will weigh you down and drain you. You will start to literally feel like you're losing your energy, because transitions are not meant for longevity in your life. They are literally what they are called, transitions. The word transition literally is a process of change. So when God is bringing you into a transition season, that's because he is ready to change something, and he is giving you the space to go through the process to do that. Do not live in a transition season. Okay, it looks crazy. It looks crazy from the inside, and it looks crazy from the outside looking in. You might know some people that got stuck in their transition season, and you can kind of see it. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to encourage you, okay? The circumstances and your conditions are changing around you because it is preparing you for a new season that requires new seeds, new habits. It's new weather, so you're going to be producing new fruit, okay? And it's going to be very exciting, but we just got to get through the transition season, and we're going to do this together. All right. Well, I hope you guys receive something from this message, piggybacking off of transitions, as we continue to uplift and motivate you in Christ. That is what we are here for, to do this thing called life together here at Storytime with Sirece. I'm excited because I'm going to be bringing more people back into the interview process on Storytime, so we can hear other stories, other perspectives, relationships. Can't wait to get my husband up on here so we can talk a little bit about relationships as well. We have a little segment called The Little Things, because that's where it all is. All right. So be encouraged. Please don't forget to subscribe. Come with me on this journey this year. And again, be encouraged. Do not be scared when you're in a transition season.